Welcome to another episode of Live with Laura. I'm your host, Laura Hediger. We are halfway through the month of March, and March is a really special month. It is Women's History Month. So for today's episode, we are going to be sitting down with a local woman who is doing amazing things in the field of law enforcement and also in the military. Now, before we introduce her to all of you, I want to give you a statistic to just show how remarkable she is. I went to the National Policing Institute, and I found out that today, in 2026, women make up just 12 to 14% of sworn police officers in the United States. That's much higher than it used to be, but friends, that is still very, very low. So I'm so excited to be sitting down with a local gal in law enforcement, Rachael Stark. She is here in our podcasting studio. Rachael, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
And happy Women's History Month.
Happy Women's History Month.
So we are going to do a deep dive over the next hour, find out what makes you, especially going into a field where, let's be honest, there aren't a lot of ladies around. Let's start at the beginning, though. Please tell us a little bit about who you are, where you came from, and what got you to the point that you are now.
Well, I was born in St. Louis. I've lived here forever, and I went to Mizzou, and then I came right back because I knew I loved this community. I went to Ladue K through 12, and then I went on to Mizzou. I was in Sigma Kappa sorority, and while I was at Mizzou, I did Army ROTC, so I was able to commission as a second lieutenant. It was a wonderful program. I'm an only child, and my husband is also in law enforcement. He's in the drug unit over in Illinois. So, we just got a lot going on.
I would say, and thank you for your service and his service. I can't imagine the stories that you two can share after work. Oh, my goodness. Let's peel back the layers even further. K through 12 at Ladue. Do you remember a time where law enforcement got into your mind and you thought, that's what I want to do?
Absolutely. So I grew up in Olivet. I lived there my whole childhood, and we had the best police department there. There was an officer who then became the chief, and now he's retired, Rick Knox. Huge influence in my life. My parents told me growing up, he'd come to the house, he knew our names. He was just the best community police officer, and to see him rise up through the ranks and become the chief, he was such a big influence, and I saw what policing is, the community aspect, and it really resonated with me from a really young age.
I am blown away by that story because Olivet's not the biggest community in St. Louis County, but still a big community. And the fact that you knew a police officer's name, that through community policing, he had such a big impact on you. Have you had a follow-up conversation with him since you've become an adult?
Oh, absolutely. We're still in contact. We text sometimes. So he's still a family friend, and he knows what a big impact he's had in my life.
And what a beautiful story, because as many people know, some of the first and biggest interactions the general public have with police officers could be a speeding ticket. I've gotten a few of them. Or it could be something really terrible happening, and that can be really, really scary.
Absolutely.
So the fact that you saw a police officer in a positive light at such an early age, and you still remember his name, that's amazing.
Such a big impact on my life, truly.
So Officer Knox then becomes Chief Knox.
Yes.
You start going to school. Do you ever remember talking to your friends growing up and people saying, I want to be a teacher, I want to be the president, and you saying, I want to be a police officer?
That is exactly what happened. And, when you're kids, you don't really think much of it, but I was probably one of the only ones that said that, honestly.
Did anyone say, but you can't because you're a girl?
Luckily, nobody did in my life. I've had the most supportive parents, and they have never once told me that I can't do something. I've come to them with the most crazy ideas, and there's not one moment in my childhood that they've ever told me that I can't do something. They've only said, how can we help you get there? So nobody in my life has ever told me that I can't do this.
Thank goodness, because heaven forbid they did and they got in your head and it would have changed the trajectory of your life. I would want to go back and yell at that person. So you go to high school. Does Ladue offer any specific courses that could be geared toward law enforcement?
Not necessarily. And at that time, I wasn't super set on that. I knew I wanted to go to Mizzou because my dad went to Mizzou, and I wanted to stay close to home. And I knew I wanted to study political science because maybe I could go to law school, maybe I could be a police officer. I just didn't know what that starting point was from high school on. But I did know I wanted to be in the military. That was a for sure thing.
So then how did that next step happen?
So my dad was in the 82nd Airborne, and I have had that structure in my life, and I've loved it. We would walk home from Old Bonham and singing like cadence, like left, right, march. It was so cute, and that really shaped my life, and that was another positive impact on me, and I wanted to be a part of that military, that strong culture. So as soon as I got to college, I joined Army ROTC. First, I was a sorority girl. I had to get that taken care of first, and then I joined, and it was 5 a.m. workouts. It was hard, but it was so rewarding knowing I had a goal of commissioning as a second lieutenant to work towards, and I made some of the best friends that I've ever had in ROTC.
Let's find out more about ROTC, just for people, myself included, who should know the terms a little bit better than we do. So it sounds like you joined your sophomore year?
I joined freshman year.
Freshman year. Okay, so you rush a sorority, you're Sigma Kappa, you decide to join ROTC. What does that process look like? What's the application? Did you have to prove that you were in so much physical shape to be accepted?
You do have to take the PT, the physical fitness test, and you have to take the military science classes. And eventually you will sign a contract with the United States military saying that when you commission that you will do X amount of years, because they do pay for school. So that it was a really fantastic perk of that. But it is a process, and there is physical aspects of it, the mental aspects, learning in those military science classes.
And the dedication of 5 a.m. workouts. I didn't go to Mizzou. I went to Illinois, and I was in a sorority. And, girl, there weren't many times that I was up at 5 in the morning ready to work out. There were times I was still up from the night before at 5 in the morning, but I definitely wasn't going for a run. What was it like balancing all of these different facets of your life with something that is so demanding and important?
It taught me to get pretty serious pretty quick, because I was still having a lot of fun at Mizzou, but I did realize that I am working towards being in the military, which is a very adult thing, I felt like, and I had to take it very seriously. So I had my share of fun, but I took all of our lessons very seriously and just thought about how this could apply to the next 8 years of my life.
And let's talk about that, because you mentioned you had to sign something for the United States military. What was that commitment?
8 years from commissioning, and I've already met that, but I'm continuing to stay in. I love the National Guard. I love going to drill. So I've been in for about 8.5 years now.
And thank you again for your service for that. What does that look like in the day-to-day life?
So once a month, I go to drill, and that includes various things. Sometimes we go to the range. Sometimes it's a lot of admin tasks. I'm at a battalion, so that's bigger concept, thinking it's more planning. It's more, we use the military decision-making process to plan out how we're going to do things. And it's more big picture things, which I have come to appreciate. Maybe it's not the doing that I do in law enforcement, the everyday direct impact, but it's the big picture concepts.
Here at First Alert 4, we've done stories before about the National Guard being deployed. Most recently, there were several National Guard groups that were sent to various cities to help with law enforcement. But also we've seen it when there have been big storms. What happened in Texas last summer in July with all the flooding. I know National Guard units were sent there. Have you been sent somewhere to help in a situation?
Not directly, no. I haven't been sent anywhere for those state emergencies, but if they need me. And mostly because of my law enforcement capacity, I am needed at home, with my law enforcement agency, but I've transitioned into a professional staff role in my law enforcement journey. I'm a reserve officer for Baldwin, but I also write policy and work on accreditation for St. Louis County. So now I work in a different law enforcement capacity, and who knows what the future will hold.
I am just sitting here thinking about what the calendar on your phone looks like. Reserve officer for Baldwin, working for St. Louis County, being in the National Guard. I'm like, what day is today? Where am I supposed to be where? So let's connect some of those dots.
Yes.
You finish at Mizzou, still have 4 years that you need to give back to the country through ROTC. Is that the right way to say it?
Yes. 8 years, yeah.
Okay. When did you apply to become a police officer, and how did you pick Baldwin? How does that all work?
So there were steps in between Baldwin. I applied for the police academy. I had some officer training in Texas that I had to go to right after I graduated Mizzou. And then I applied to the police academy, and I went. The police academy is 6 months long. It's pretty intense. And I was about 5 months through when it was deemed that I was not proficient in firearms. So I was dismissed from the police academy, and that was a major setback. I am not going to lie. I did sit in a Walgreens parking lot and cry. But I feel like that was a very decisive point in my life where it set up the rest of my life. I could just accept that and quit and be done with this thing that has been building for my whole life, or I could push past it. And it's harder than it sounds. It's not just pushing past it. So after I had my good cry in the Walgreens parking lot, I messaged a few contacts that I had, and I ended up getting an internship at the Maryland Heights Police Department, which was so cool. And I walk in on day one, and I'm like, my foot kind of hurts. This is weird. Turns out I had fractured my heel. It probably just like the stress from running and all my fitness stuff. Mm-hmm. So I have this heel fracture. I've already lined up going to a different academy in a couple months. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm going to push through this. I'm going to forget that my heel hurts, and we're just going to keep going. So I go to this other academy. It's January 2020. Everything shuts down in March. We're virtual for 6 weeks.
Okay. So we're going to take a step back. Let's go back to the Walgreens parking lot scenario for a moment. What does it mean when they say you're not proficient in firearms?
There's a certain qualification that you have to make X amount of, in your target. Mm-hmm. And even after retraining, I wasn't able to. I wasn't able to meet the level of firearms proficiency needed.
Okay. And this is fall of 2019?
Yes, this is fall.
Okay.
Yes.
We get the cry out. You contact everyone you know. Maryland Heights says, let's start this internship. You have a broken foot. You're like, I'll power through it. It's not a broken left pinky, girl. You need the foot. Okay, so are you now in a boot? What's going on at this chapter?
I think it took a while to actually diagnose the broken foot. I think I just tried to ignore it for a while.
Okay.
And it was my heel bone. It's the hardest bone to break. And I was just like, this is fine. Everything's fine. And I kept going with my internship. And with the internship, it was amazing that someone took a chance on me. Someone believed in me after this, life-changing event happened. The police academy, I was like, what is going to happen next? And someone took a risk on me and took me in as the intern. And I appreciate that so much because it really opened my eyes to, I can do this. Other people believe in me. I need to believe in me.
We are here in Maryland Heights in our new studio. We've had a fantastic working relationship with the men and women over there. So I'm thrilled that you were there because I can totally see how they were like, yes, let's give this gal an opportunity. But then, as you mentioned, it's now March 2020. What does a virtual internship, what does a virtual class look like for something that very much we need in person?
So the graduation date was set for July. So we knew there would hopefully be some time. We didn't know how long everything was going to be shut down for while I was at this academy. And we did a lot of the constitutional law, a lot of the classroom stuff. But I will say we still, when we got in trouble, they're like, get down on your webcam and go do push-ups. And it was kind of funny being in my living room doing push-ups. And I still got a lot out of it. The classwork is just as important as the in-person, the training, the defensive tactics. So we were able to do that when we came back in person. And the first thing we did the day we got back was tase day.
Oh, gosh.
And I got tased.
Oh, wow. I'd be like, can we go back to my living room during the push-ups? Oh, my gosh. Okay, so you get tased. That's got to be painful.
It was better than pepper spray.
Okay. The things you don't think about on this side. So that's day one. Is this another police academy than you went to?
Yes, this is a different one.
Okay. So does another firearms training come up in this one?
Yes, it does. And I had been going to the range with my dad. I'd just been in a better headspace. And I passed firearms at that academy, and it wasn't even really an issue. So I needed to get in the right frame of mind, I think. And I almost needed to have that setback to prove to myself how much I wanted this.
And as someone who doesn't really think about what police officers go through, I just accept that they went through a lot, and now they're out there protecting us. It is very comforting to know that there are so many rules, of course, in place.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can't imagine being on the job and you are faced with a situation where you do have to pull that gun. Those days will never leave you.
Absolutely. I couldn't even imagine.
So when was graduation?
July 2020. Okay. So I got hired by Creve Corps, and it was wonderful because I grew up right next to Creve Corps. I ended up pulling people over that I knew, which was hilarious. Weird. It was weird, but that's the time. I mean, it was smooth sailing to me at that point. I had gotten through the academy. I came through this huge trial, and now I'm just... At that point, I'm a woman in law enforcement, really early in it, and experiencing a squad full of boys.
And that is where we are going to hit the pause button, take our first break, because I very much want to know what that was like. I can only imagine. And the firearms proficiency wasn't the only setback. You have also had a very serious head injury too.
Correct.
We are going to find out more about that, how that brought you to where you are now. We are sitting with Rachael Stark, grew up in Olivet, a Ladue grad, a Mizzou grad, ROTC. She's now in this story working for Creve Corps. She does it all. I don't know how she does it all, but very inspirational during this all-important Women's History Month. You are watching Live with Laura. We appreciate you joining us here on Live with Laura. I'm your host, Laura Hediger, joined by Rachael Stark, who is a police officer. She is in the Missouri National Guard, and she was on the Wheel of Fortune. We're going to get to that, St. Louis. She literally does it all. Rachel, let's pick up with the fact that where you left off in your story, you are now a police officer in Creve Corps. Do you remember about how many women were in that department when you were in it too, but also how many men there were?
There's about one female per squad, so 4 or 5 females total. And the locker room was great because there was tons of space, and I did like that. But there were a couple factors from my earlier life in the military that really helped me, get through this lack of girl time, I had great, and I still have great mentors in the military that taught me from very early in my career what a strong woman is. Command Sergeant Major Ishmael and Major Osier are 2 huge influences in my life. I started my career with both of them, and they were more experienced than I was, and they taught me the ropes, and I have, gone up the ranks, and so have they, and it's just great to see this full circle girl power situation. So in Creve Coeur, there weren't a lot of girls, but I definitely have looked for a law enforcement mentor. And also, like, something really important is teamwork. And it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, you're a part of the team. And it's not just one person responding to a call. Mm-hmm. It's the whole team. And I think that is extremely important to remember, that it doesn't matter. You're all fighting for the same cause, and that's to make this person's day better.
Mm-hmm. And to protect them and help them in a hard situation. Mm-hmm. Do you remember times, though, where men tried to say, well, you're just a woman, you're just a girl?
I was on a traffic stop. I pulled somebody over, and someone called me sweetheart. They said, oh, how are you today, sweetheart? And I'm trying to, enforce a law. Mm-hmm. This person I think they were speeding. It was egregious. And it was a hard time for me. And it hit differently because they wouldn't have said that to one of my male colleagues. Mm-hmm. So I did what I needed to do on the traffic stop, and I brushed it off. But it's just something that I feel like the male colleagues don't have to face.
This could be a teachable moment for anyone watching. In that situation, I'm guessing, how are you, officer, would be slightly more professional.
Yes.
You've obviously thought about that traffic stop. I don't know what year it happened. Do you think they did it as a way to lower you? Or what intent do you think that person had?
I don't think there was bad intent. I like to give people the benefit of the mm-hmm. doubt. I think that person, when you get pulled over, you're flustered. You don't know what to do. Even when I get pulled over, I'm flustered and I don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And I really don't think it was meant to demean me in any type of way, but I just know that they wouldn't have said that to a male coworker. So,
what are some moments in your job in law enforcement and also in the military where being a woman made you do your job better?
I think women bring a sense of maybe calm. I know I can also say this about some of my male coworkers, but women bring a sense of calm. I remember I was picking somebody up on a warrant. I was at another jail. This guy was 6'5", 300 pounds. And I just said to him, I'm like, hey, I will respect you. Can you respect me? You know that you're so much bigger than mm-hmm, me. Mm-hmm. And it was just, I approached it with a sense of calm. And I feel like females tend to, and then a lot of females tend to want to talk to females. Mm-hmm. So there's need for females in law enforcement, for sure.
Absolutely. I think about all the rape victims out there. You just went through the worst trauma of your life, and then you're spilling all of it sometimes to just a man after a man after a man. Mm-hmm. I would absolutely, if I were in that victim's shoes, want to find the woman there Absolutely. To talk to. Mm-hmm. Because the empathy of some things that women go through, you're just going to connect so much more with Absolutely. A woman. And I would think little kids probably mm-hmm. gravitate to female officers a lot Absolutely. Too.
I feel like also being a woman, I did work at the medical examiner's office as a death investigator, and I was on those types of scenes. Family members would want to talk to me, and I'm not saying they didn't want to talk to my male coworkers, but if there were kids on scene, I just was able to approach it with a more nurturing, even though I don't even have kids. I feel like I was approachable, mm-hmm. but our whole office is approachable. That's just a great office.
And I love how positive you have been about all the different police departments you have mentioned in this mm-hmm. conversation. Your first official job as a police officer was in Creve Coeur.
Yes.
Where did you make the switch, or how did you make the switch to Baldwin?
So after Creve Coeur, I decided to go to the medical examiner's office full-time and become a death investigator. And I did not want to give up police work completely. So I became a reserve officer at Baldwin. I work court, I work 5Ks. It's a lower time commitment, but I'm still an officer. I'm still training. I'm still doing all the things that commissioned officers are doing, and I'm still a commissioned officer. But I was at the medical examiner's office, and that was a crazy job. It was not the best dinner conversation, but it was so cool. And eventually, the hours with my husband's job didn't really work. So now I am in my current job as a research associate at St. Louis County.
With the medical examiners, is that through St. Louis County?
Yes.
You talk about the hours. Just this morning, I wake up a little earlier than my husband, so I had already seen that there was a plane crash at Spirit of St. Louis Airport, and I had already read through our internal notes knowing that the medical examiner was there. He woke up around 6, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, did you see that there was a plane crash?" And I said, "Actually, I did, only because I work at Channel 4, went through everything." But I did start thinking about the medical examiner team who had to be called. And I was like, man, I bet they got that call at 5? They were expected to be on the scene by 5:20, 5:30. I don't know where all of you live. Spirit is out there in Chesterfield. And I did just start thinking all the things that had to go in place to get that team there. And that's just one situation. And the medical examiners are expected at car crashes, fatal fires, homicides. That never stops.
It never stops.
How many is on that type of team?
So there are 6 full-time investigators, and we were actually all at the office. It was manned 24/7. So at 2 a.m. or whenever, there's always at least one investigator at the office. So even if, 3 p.m. on a Friday in South County coming from Berkeley, it took a little bit to get there. But
of course. And I'm amazed at your story, how many opportunities there are in other facets. I know in some industries, probably mine included, we worry if we leave somewhere, will we ever find another opportunity that's similar? In law enforcement, it seems like sky's the limit.
Exactly. There's so many branches of law enforcement that sometimes people don't even think about. Like, the medical examiner's office didn't require my law enforcement background, but it definitely helped. And now writing law enforcement policy and accreditation is just another aspect of law enforcement that people don't really think about. You have your dispatchers, your records clerks, so many people that go into being in law enforcement. And when I say that more women should get in law enforcement, if you don't want to be on the streets, there's so many fantastic opportunities to get involved.
I do want to bring up the fact, though, that you said another setback, this time with your physical health. What happened?
So in 2024, I was in a car accident, and I thought it was, I had a concussion. I thought, this is just a concussion. I was taken to the emergency room, and I have actually still been dealing with effects of post-concussion syndrome. So it has made me hesitant to say yes to opportunities, but I'm not letting it stop me. I'm working through these post-concussion syndrome effects, and I think I'm doing great, but I'm not letting it stop me say yes to opportunities.
What are some of the effects, though?
I do have some issues with, I see a speech therapist. I do have some slight memory issues, but speech therapy has really been helping me. I have an awesome speech therapist, another amazing woman in my life. So I've been also doing I take violin lessons, and I took that before the accident, but it's really been helping my recovery. I feel so much more confident with my memory and my ability to, remember a piece that we did last week. So there's just a lot that goes into it, and it's just something that it was not on my bingo card.
Of course. This accident, was it while you were on the job?
It was coming home from annual training with military. Yeah.
And another thing, how many traffic accidents have you responded to in your career? Hundreds?
Hundreds.
And so often we think, well, it wasn't fatal. The airbags didn't come out. Not that bad. But here, and I don't know if your airbags came out, but here you have the lingering effects 2 years later that just the general public kind of forgets. No, this is a big deal.
And I try to put on like a mask. People they're like, oh, I don't realize that. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm working through it. I don't want people to know about it unless I tell them about it. And this is honestly the first time I've really told anybody about it.
And you are doing well now.
Yes.
One of the things that I appreciate about you is just how many things you have tried. I was not expecting violin to come up. I think that's amazing. And the main reason I know you is because you put yourself out there to be on a national stage in the form of the Wheel of Fortune. Please give me all of these details.
So the background that I haven't told yet is I started applying for the show before my head injury. So when I did get that email saying, hey, you're selected to be on the show, of course I was excited, but then I was like, oh my gosh, this is like not ideal timing. What if I get up there and freeze? What if a word can't come to my head? And that's just something that was going on in my head. And I said yes anyway. Why not? You know, what's the worst that can happen?
But why not? As the email comes in, they didn't just email you. You had to apply.
Right.
Please tell me about the application process and when you decided, you know what, I like this show, I could be a contestant on it.
I have been watching the show forever. I watch it with my parents. I watch it with Sean, my husband. And I wanted to try something different, like how I just picked up the violin one day. I just wanted to try something cool, and I like people and talking. So I was like, maybe Wheel of Fortune. I applied for 3 years.
How often?
Once a year.
Okay, so I really don't know. Is there like a certain time of year where the application pool opens?
You can only apply once a calendar year. So once I was like, oh, it's been 365 days, I like had an alert in my phone. I'm like, now. And I would send in my application. They do a Zoom interview. And then the other interview they do is you're playing like puzzle games with other contestants. And it's so fun to see the whole casting process.
And what's amazing about that type of show is it airs every single day. They never, ever stop. So you find out when that you have been selected?
At the end of August in 2025.
Okay, so just 7 months ago, 8 months ago.
Recently.
So you find out in August. It's just 1 year and a month post your concussion, this severe issue you've been dealing with. What type of timeline does Wheel of Fortune give you on when you have to be in California?
It was like 3 weeks. They were like, come to California. And I had but they also said, respond to this email in 24 hours if you want this opportunity.
I can go days without checking my personal email. Okay, so I'm glad you checked yours. Okay, you respond and
I'm like, I'm in. And then the later thought was, oh no, what if I, make a fool of myself on national television and completely go blank? And that's honestly what I was worried about with this today is what if my mind just stops?
Well, you are rocking it right here, and you rocked it on the show.
Thank you.
Let's talk for a few minutes about the process of the show. You fly yourself to California?
Yes.
What do they tell you, though? Like, you have to have this many outfits, you have to be here at this time, check into this hotel?
That's pretty much it. It's not even the specific hotel. They're like, this is the one we suggest. And I was like, sounds great. That, don't have to decide anything. My husband got time off. I got time off. I had drill that weekend. So we were there for 36 hours. And we get off the plane in LA, and I literally expect to see like the Jonas Brothers over there and Taylor Swift over there, and that just doesn't happen. It's not like that. And we go to In-N-Out. That was my husband's one thing. He's like, if I'm going to go with you, we're going to go to In-N-Out. And I'm like, okay. And then my stop was Erewhon for a smoothie.
Nice. Okay.
And then
so we get the burger, we get the smoothie, everyone's happy.
We dip our toes in the ocean, and that was like it. It was like panic mode after that. It was full on like focus mode, because the next day I get to the set, 6 a.m., hair, makeup, stuff that I love to do.
They do it?
Yes.
Well, that's nice. Okay. They do hair and makeup. 6 a.m. is your call time.
Yes.
What time do they start filming your episode?
It was like, they start filming at like 10.
Okay.
And they film 6 episodes. And I had found out that morning that I was going to be in the 6th episode.
So you're just sitting there all day?
We're watching the other episodes be taped, but I was just like, I'm hungry. I need Diet Coke.
And aren't you like getting more nervous and more nervous and more nervous?
Absolutely, because we had practiced our intros, and it's literally just information about myself. How could I forget that? And I'm like, I can't remember facts about myself.
Because it's Ryan Seacrest,
right,
too.
and Vanna White.
Yeah. Okay. So you're finally 6 of 6. There are 2 other contestants on with you. Do you remember much about them?
They were really cool. We'd all been hanging out all day, and we all got along so well. I was just so happy to see everyone getting along, and no matter what happened, I just wanted my friends to do well, So this, and you definitely learned this in California, this feels like a good time to take another break because I want Rachel to explain how the show went, what she won, if she won, what she's planning to do with that money. So we're going to take our final commercial break. You're watching and listening to Live with Laura. We appreciate that you are spending part of your day here with us on Live with Laura. I'm Laura Hediger, joined alongside Rachel Stark. Now, Rachel, I will tell you, my parents watch Channel 4 to get their news, but each evening they turn it to NBC to watch the Wheel of Fortune. My mom has been a huge fan for a very long time, and she was a little nervous when Ryan Seacrest took over. And every few months I check in with her and I'm like, okay, so how do you think Ryan's doing? She's like, he is just great. And what do you see in real life when you met him? He was great. I felt so welcomed. It was so amazing to see all the people that go into this production, and I almost related it to law enforcement because it's all the people that you don't see behind the scenes that help the people the officers on the street. It's all these producers, and there was a guy, his job was to clean the wheel. You don't even think about that, but it helps the show run smoothly. And Ryan was fantastic. He made us feel so at ease, and it was great.
He is the best of the best in broadcasting. It's been really fun watching him rise to the level that he is. And with the 6 episodes that day, did he and Vanna change their clothes? I want to see the closets. There'll be times my mom's like, oh, Laura, you should have seen what Vanna was wearing tonight. It was so good. It's always good. So they changed their clothes 6 times. You are the 6th of 6 recording that day. How did the episode go?
I think it went well. And are you looking for a spoiler?
First off, tell us how we can watch it.
Okay.
Where can we watch it now?
It was streaming on Hulu and Peacock, but I don't think it's streaming anymore.
Okay.
I don't even think it's available to be watched.
Okay. Do you still have a copy of it?
I do.
Okay, good. So Rachel still has a
For
copy,
posterity.
as she should. But definitely check it out on Hulu, and you can hit the pause button right now. If you can find it, great. Watch it. Come back to the episode now because you are going to give us the spoilers of what happened.
So, I do a spin, bankrupt. I do another spin, bankrupt.
You're bankrupt from having no money. Okay, great.
I do another spin, lose a turn. So I think I walked off during a break and I said, I'm not having fun.
No, the wheel's broken.
But as the game went on, I solved a toss-up, which was karate black belt. And then I did the final spin and solved that puzzle, and it was pulling a prank, and ended up with $8,000. So I would have been happy even if I got nothing just for the experience. But in the beginning, it was not looking good.
$8,000. So how does that work? Have they already sent you the money?
No, you have to wait till it airs. Then there's a period after that you wait. So I don't have it yet.
Okay.
But I've already kind of spent it.
Okay. And how have you mentally spent it?
So I got a new house very recently, and I need new furniture. I need the paint on the walls. I just got a day bed up in my reading room. So that is some of it. Mm-hmm. I did take my parents to a very special dinner. We went to a very nice dinner the other night to celebrate my mom's birthday. Oh. So that was some of it, and I'm sure I'll do more little things for my parents because they're just so great. And then my husband and I want to go to Banff National Park. We want to go on an adventure.
Your life is an adventure, girl. It seems like you're the type of person who takes any opportunity and runs with it full speed ahead. You very much seem like you have one life. Let's make it an interesting one.
I try, and I'm really focused on not discounting any opportunity that comes my way. If something sounds interesting, why not? Why not try it? And that's the message that I kind of want to communicate to others is just to give things a try.
Mm-hmm. And what about to people who do love the Wheel of Fortune, The Price is Right, who are sitting there thinking, I'll never get picked? What would you tell them about that?
That's what I thought, honestly. And other people have taken a chance on me in my life, the show took a chance on me. They looked at me and they're like, maybe she'll do something interesting. And they gave me an opportunity. And I've been so fortunate. There's so many people in my life that have just given me an opportunity. And that's really has set me up for so much success. And I feel like the Wheel of Fortune just gave me an opportunity. So don't get discouraged. Mm-hmm. Keep trying. I have already sent in applications for other game shows. So
can you tell us what ones you're eyeing?
I really want to be on Extracted.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Basically, I'd be in the woods for 3 weeks, and my husband and my dad would play for supplies.
Oh, my gosh.
Why not?
You go for it, girl. I know they're always looking for Survivor contestants on CBS. Go for that one, too. I'll be sitting at home because I'm not as adventurous as Rachael. Rachael, something that I have loved during this conversation is you have brought it back to your parents quite a few times, Lori and Victor. Mm-hmm. What did you learn from Lori and Victor growing up?
I have learned, especially from my mom, strong women raise strong women. And I think my mom is such a wonderful, strong person. And her mom, my Nana, was such an amazing woman. I mean, my pop-op was an economic advisor in the White House. Like, that is an amazing woman to stand next to him well during that career. And my mom has just been so supportive and strong. And I've just had the best role models ever. So strong women raise strong women, and that's what I can tell our audience is if, you model that strength, then your children will see that.
But not only your children, you referenced earlier your role models in the military. Mm-hmm. Ishmael was the name of one of them.
Command Sergeant Major, yes.
They're not your mom. Mm-mm. What did they show you about being a strong woman?
They showed me compassion and caring. I came into the military essentially only knowing what I learned in ROTC, nothing real world. And they were so patient and kind, and they set me up for success. And it was just finding mentors in your life, even when you do have those strong women as, parents, is so important, just to have other people rooting for you.
How would you define a strong woman?
The group chat that I'm in for my burn boot camp, it is a group chat of the strongest women I know. We push each other. These women are just so encouraging. I have never seen a group of women celebrate each other more than this place. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what a strong woman is, celebrating other women, lifting each other up, and, supporting anything that their friends or that they want to do. And that's the definition of being strong to me.
And I love that so much of it is mental and emotional. I didn't hear you once in that answer say, a strong woman is a woman who can do 20 push-ups mm-hmm. without stopping. A strong woman is someone who can bicep curl 30 pounds at once. I didn't hear that. It was all about being strong for other people too.
Yes, and that's so important. Just being a good friend, being a good person. Mm-hmm. Your kids see that, other people see that, and that is what makes people want to try new things.
Let's talk about your parents a little bit more. What advice do you have for parents who are watching who are going to have a child come to them with a dream? Maybe not the most conventional dream like you have had, what would you say to parents to continue encouraging their kids, even if it sounds lofty and a little bit outside of the box?
I mean, as we talked about, I came to my parents and I said, I want to be a police officer. I want to be in the military. I want to be a death investigator. And now I want to go on Wheel of Fortune. Like, they have literally heard it all. And I would tell parents, the best thing to do is let your kid or adult kid, just let them be curious. Let them explore and see what they want to do. And the support, the unconditional support, has really changed my life. Like, knowing that I can always go back to my parents and husband no matter what. And even if I'm like, hey, that wasn't for me, I tried it though, they will always have my back. And it's important to be that person for other people.
Looking to the future, what are you excited about?
I'm excited about everything. I have so much. I love my job at St. Louis County and Baldwin. I have so much good going on in the military, and I'm just so excited to hopefully use this, Wheel of Fortune platform to inspire other girls to do whatever they want in law enforcement and the military. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a road officer. Maybe you want to be a dispatcher. Maybe you want to write policy. There's so many options, and I hope I can help a little girl explore those options.
And that brings me to one of my final questions. How can people get in contact with you if they are looking for some life advice from an incredibly strong woman?
I am on Facebook and LinkedIn. So Rachael Stark, I spell my name a little different, Rachael, but just reach out, or through St. Louis County Police Department or Baldwin. Someone will find me. That girl from Wheel of Fortune, just say that.
That girl from Wheel of Fortune. I love it. And anything else that our listeners should know?
Just be there for anybody. I'm on the peer support team at St. Louis County, so this is my plug. Mental health awareness. Be a good teammate, be a good coworker, and always be there for someone. This is such a great generation that's coming up with all these great resources, and I think that these girls that are coming into law enforcement are so lucky to be coming in during this time.
They're very lucky because they have mentors in place just like you who have paved the way. Rachael Stark here with us on Live with Laura. Happy Women's History Month.
Happy Women's History Month.
It's a treat to sit across from you. Shout out to your parents. They did a very good job. I need their numbers so I can take notes so my little girl grows up to be a strong woman too. We appreciate you being here. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you who are celebrating, and go out there and be excited about life, just like Rachael. Until next time, thank you for listening, thank you for learning, and thank you for being live with Laura.